Good evening. All members of parliament are not allowed to raise any issue regarding a controversial video which implicates a minister in the upcoming parliamentary session, which will begin next week. Dewan Rakyat Speaker Dato' Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof said that this is the case is still under investigation.
Peraturan parlimen adalah agak jelas apabila sesuatu perkara itu sedang dalam siasatan, terutama apabila sedang dalam siasatan polis, tak boleh dibangkitkan dalam parlimen. Ini menjejaskan proses siasatan. Ya. Kalau dibangkitkan.
Dato' Muhammad Arif said that he will not hesitate to use the Dewan Rakyat ruling should any MPs continue to bring up the issue. He said this after officiating the 10th ASEAN Inter-Parliamentary Assembly caucus in Parliament today. Another orang asli man from Kampung Sungai Berua in Hulu Terengganu was admitted to the Hulu Terengganu Hospital in Kuala Berang after showing symptoms of a respiratory tract infection or RTI, bringing the total of orang asli currently warded there to 10. Now, State Health Director Dr. Muhammad Yusof said a 29-year-old man was admitted after he came to the hospital at 2:57 a.m. complaining of fever and cough for the past 3 days. Now, speaking to reporters, Dr. Muhammad Yusof said initial investigations found that the orang asli man had visited Kuala Ko near Gua Musang in Kelantan recently because he has a family over there. On Wednesday, 8 other orang asli from Kuala Ko were admitted to the hospital in Hulu Terengganu, 7 of whom had symptoms of RTI, while another experiencing diarrhea, stomach pains, vomiting and being treated for acute gastroenteritis. On Friday, another patient from the same village was admitted to the same hospital. Dr. Muhammad Yusof said all the 10 orang asli patients aged between 4 and 29 comprise of 7 men and 3 women. Commenting on the patients, he said all are reportedly stable, administered with antibiotics, given appropriate treatment and observed by the hospital staff. A total of 14 deaths of orang asli were reported to have taken place in the past month in Gua Musang, Kelantan, with 2 bodies examined by the authorities and ascertained to have been caused by pneumonia. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in his Cambridge Union talk yesterday reiterated that Malaysia will not recognise same-sex marriage. Defending the traditional marriage institution, Tun Dr. Mahathir described as same-sex marriage as a regressive way of thinking. Now, commenting further on the subject, Tun Dr. Mahathir said there is no such thing as absolute right, allowing people to do anything and everything they want.
I don't understand this gay marriage. Marriage is about, well, procuring children. But gay marriage, do they get children? What do they do? Well, they adopt children and things like that. Today, the institution of marriage has been, well, discarded almost. No marriage, no family. What are we going to be? To us, this is a regressive way of thinking. Simply because you think people should be free, then they can do what they like, and they feel like marrying men and men, women and women, oh, that's okay, that's their right. I think rights have got limits.
Tun Dr. Mahathir has consistently rejected a same-sex marriage and the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender culture, saying Malaysia does not subscribe to such Western values. He has said that the country will not accept certain practices even though they are deemed by the West to fall under human rights. For Malaysia, the concept of marriage involves only a union between a man and a woman, he told the crowd on Sunday. The subject matter covered was not much different from the talk he delivered at Oxford Union in January, yet Dr. Mahathir kept the floor engaged with his wit and humour during his talk at Cambridge Union. Now, the rumblings of a small group of protesters outside were soon drowned by Tun Dr. Mahathir's off-the-cuff speech inside the Cambridge Union Society Hall that took the audience from the British rule narrative to the present-day woes faced by the country and the world. Now, some of the attendees noted the talk was not much different from the one in Oxford Union because he was steadfast on his stand on many issues, including on the Israel regime that had carved out its own state at the expense of Palestine, the atrocities suffered by Palestinians, as well as Malaysia's stand on LGBT. Tun Dr. Mahathir also once again highlighted how Malaysia shifted its focus from the west to the east and the fear of marginalization of the smaller countries by the bigger nations.
There are many countries which have done very well. Japan, for example, was doing quite well and was well on the way to becoming the second biggest economy in the world. There was also Korea. Then there was China and other Eastern countries doing quite well. And for that reason, we decided to look east, to learn from the East, because now we find that the East not only had caught up with the West, but in many instances had actually advanced beyond what Western achievements. So after looking at the East, we learned a lot from them, and Malaysia became one of those countries which made tremendous progress to the point where it became known as a newly industrializing country, or sometimes we were known as one of the Asian tigers. We learned from the Japanese a lot of things, not just technology, but also we learned about their work ethics.
Also in attendance during the talks was the Premier's wife, together with Saifuddin Abdullah and Youth and Sports Minister Syed Sadiq Abdul Rahman. Amongst those who joined the crowd were Cambridge undergraduates, Malaysian undergraduates and Malaysians living in the UK. Deputy Defence Minister Liew Chin Tong has reiterated Malaysia's position of not wanting to choose between the United States and China. He says Malaysia is pursuing an activist neutrality posture and that the country is actively engaging all sides in the fervent hope that the world is not split between China and the US.
We want to choose between China and US, and we want to play that the role that we are non-aligned. And we want to be a very important, active public opinion leader in the region. And so we do not want to be seen as choosing anyone. And we also don't want the big powers to force the small states to choose.
The Deputy Minister said this in his speech at an international forum to mark 45 years of Malaysia-China diplomatic ties at the federal capital. The forum is jointly organized by University Malaya and Xiamen University. He also called on China to put more effort into understanding its smaller Southeast Asian neighbors, saying it must dispel the perception of a bully as portrayed by the United States in its current trade war with Beijing. Now, Teo added that as much as China believes that it is a victim of smaller states, that China is a bully. The federal court has fixed 7th of August to hear Datuk Sri Najib Razak's appeal to disqualify former federal court judge Datuk Sri Gopal Sri Ram as lead prosecutor in his One Malaysian Development Berhad or 1MDB cases. Deputy Public Prosecutor Ahmad Akram Garib told reporters that the prosecution and defence in the case were also instructed to file the respective submissions before the 24th of July. Now, the matter came up for case management before Deputy Registrar Azniza Muhammad Ali in chambers today. Lawyer Sarah Abhishegam appeared for Datuk Sri Najib. On the 1st of March, the High Court dismissed Datuk Sri Najib's application to disqualify Datuk Sri Ram from leading the prosecution in his 1MDB cases. He also lost his appeal in the Court of Appeal on the 7th of May. The 66-year-old Pekan Member of Parliament is now facing 4 counts under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or MACC Act and 21 counts of money laundering involving 1MDB funds amounting to 2.28 billion ringgit. Deputy Public Prosecutor Muhammad Izzat Fauzan said the federal court set 4th of September to hear Dato Sri Najib's preview application against the lifting of the order to temporarily stay his SRC international trial and also on the former Premier's bid for a stay of the High Court proceedings. He said the court has also set 12th of July for case management for the matters. Dato Sri Najib is now facing 7 charges of criminal breach of trust, abuse of power and money laundering involving 42 million ringgit of SRC international funds. His trial is ongoing before High Court Judge Muhammad Nazilan Muhammad Ghazali. Meanwhile, Dato Sri Najib's appeal against the High Court's dismissal of his bid to strike out his 7 SRC international charges has been set for further case management on the 12th of July, awaiting the records of appeal. Police have successfully nabbed a Myanmar man suspected to be the mastermind behind the illegal production of fake alcohol, which caused 6 deaths in a period of 2 months in Pulau Pinang. Now, the circulation of the fake alcohol is growing more widespread in the black market, where it is sold to immigrants in the state. Timor Laut District Police Chief ACP Che Zaimani Che Awang said based on the intelligence found by the police and the Royal Customs Department or JKDM, police have detained the Myanmar man in Komta. Now, prior to this, 2 local Indians, 2 Indian nationals and 1 Myanmar national died as a result of drinking the fraudulent alcohol. The incident happened at a construction site along Jalan S. Pichlaya in Georgetown. Meanwhile, various types of alcohol were seized during a raid on Komta, including methanol, which is banned substance.
Kita percaya minuman buatan sendiri ini dimasuk ke dalam botol-botol berjenama untuk mengelirukan pembeli. Dan apa yang kita kesan juga, jenama-jenama tiruan ini dijual dengan harga yang begitu murah.
ACP Che Zaimani said this during a press conference in Georgetown, Pulau Pinang. The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency's Tanjung Selidi Maritime Zone yesterday arrested 2 men for stealing goods from a cargo ship early yesterday morning. Now, the incident took place at 2.9 nautical miles south of Teluk Ramunia at Kota Tinggi in Johor. Johor MMEA Deputy Operations Director Sanifa Yusof said 4 men between the ages of 27 and 29 who were on 2 wooded boats were initially arrested while unloading several goods from the ship. 2 of those arrested, however, managed to escape by jumping into the sea. They were, however, detained by the Indonesian authorities at the Batam waters at 10 to 15 nautical miles from the location of the incident.
So modus operandi yang dilaksanakan oleh 4 orang ni adalah seperti yang berlaku di sebelah barat Johor yang sebelum ni kita tahan 2 buah bot juga yang melakukan kucurian ke atas kapal-kapal dagang lah.
No injuries were reported and no weapons were found during the arrest. The case is now being investigated under Section 380 and 445 of the Penal Code. Authorities are currently working towards bringing home the 2 suspects who are detained at Batam for prosecution purposes. Petaling Jaya Sessions Court has charged a wholesale market trader with 2 counts of abusing children. Now, the accused, Muhammad Raja Abdullah, 49, pleaded not guilty before Judge Hilmiah Yusof. According to the first charge, the accused was found to have abused a 7-year-old girl, causing injury to her face, hands, waist and feet at Taman Penggiring Putra, Sri Kembangan on the 30th of May. As for the second charge, the accused was revealed to have committed abuse against an 8-year-old child, causing injury to the child's 2 hands at the same location on the same day. The accused was charged for committing the offences and is punishable under Section 31, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Children's Act 2001. If convicted, the accused will be fined a maximum of 50,000 ringgit or jailed for not more than 20 years of both. The accused was represented by lawyer Harpal Singh. Judge Hilmiah granted the accused bail at 13,000 ringgit and set 18th of July for the case we mentioned. Bank Negara Malaysia, or BNM, together with the financial industry, is in the process of establishing a financial threat intelligence platform. Governor Datuk Nur Shamsiah Muhammad Yusof said that the platform will collate, analyse and disseminate real-time information on cyber threats and trends to strengthen the detective capabilities of the industry against such threats.
We can only play our intended role to support the broader economy. We are attentive to both strategic and operational considerations of risk. Brings together two important milestones for the Malaysian financial services industry. The beginnings of an exciting era of digitalization and a new chapter in the development of the financial sector as the current financial blueprint approaches.
She said this in her officiating speech at the opening of BNM's My FinTech Week 2019 in Kuala Lumpur today. The central bank head also stressed on the importance of having a national cybersecurity agenda, as advancements in technology have given rise to increasing reliance on technology presenting risks that cannot be ignored. This includes issues of data privacy, discrimination or biases, and displacement of certain segments within society. Amid the many opportunities and risks offered by the future of finance, she noted that it is underscoring that truly serves the need of the people. International Trade and Industry Minister Dato' Daryl Ley King will lead the Malaysian delegation to the 53rd International Paris Air Show in France from the 17th to the 19th of June. He will be accompanied by officials from his ministry, the National Aerospace Industry Coordinating Office, and the Malaysian Investment Development Authority, or MIDA, and the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, or MATRADE, as well as representatives from Malaysian companies. In a statement released recently, the International Trade and Industry Ministry, or MITI, said Dato' Daryl is scheduled to attend the Paris Air Show official opening ceremony, officiate at the Malaysia Pavilion, as well as attend business meetings with original equipment manufacturers, or OEMs, and Tier 1 companies. He will also deliver opening remarks at the Malaysia-France seminar, which will be jointly organized by MATRADE and the French Aerospace Industries Association. MITI said Malaysia's participation at the Paris Air Show is significant as a platform for local aerospace companies to discover the aerospace market's latest innovations and global industry development. Apart from attracting quality investments that will spur aircraft parts and components to the OEMs and Tier 1 companies, the government views the aerospace industry as a critical sector that offers abundant opportunities for the transfer of advanced technologies in engineering, electronics, composite materials, system integration, MRO, and industry-led research and technology. This is also reflected in the 11th Malaysia Plan, where the aerospace industry has been identified as one of Malaysia's key strategic focus sectors. The Transport Ministry is hoping that more transport service operators will take the initiative to introduce a cashless payment system in the future. Its Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said the move would improve the efficiency of the public transport services and the number of commuters.
Harapan saya nak lihat supaya operator angkutan yang lain dapat juga menggunakan sistem cashless ini. Dan saya difahamkan prasarana memang pun ada perancangan untuk perkhidmatan kita seperti MRT, LRT dan sebagainya.
Lok said that this is in line with the government's effort to create a cashless society. He added that this system will be implemented in phases. The minister said this after launching the Go Cashless on Public Transport campaign organised by Express Rail Link Sdn Bhd, or ERL, in Kuala Lumpur today. The campaign also involves ERL's strategic partners. The Education Ministry is planning to increase the number of classes pertaining to the Special Integrated Education Program in all schools nationwide. Deputy Education Minister Teo Nee Ching says this is to allow more special needs children to receive a proper education and guidance. Elaborating further, Teo said currently there are around 1,545 and 830 special program classes conducted in primary and secondary schools respectively. She also said it is important for these special needs students to communicate with normal students to eliminate the stigma that differentiates both groups.
Kita boleh gabungkan ataupun murid-murid berkeperluan khas ini juga ada campur sama dengan murid-murid yang biasa lah. Kerana bukan semua sekolah ada PPKI. Kerana PPKI you perlu ada guru yang khas.
The Deputy Education Minister further noted that special needs children have a bright future if their talents and abilities can be identified through these special programs. Teo said this after visiting the school. And that concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, MPs not allowed to raise issue of controversial video in the upcoming parliamentary session. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more news updates. Stay tuned to TV2. Have a pleasant evening. I'm Adrian Seed. Thanks for watching.